Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com at the end of September and beginning of October 2024. Legacy.com is where you can find any obituary or publish an obituary in any newspaper in America and beyond. Singer, songwriter, and actor Kris Kristofferson died September 28, 2024, in Maui, Hawaii, at the age of 88. He had a #1 country music hit with Why Me, was part of the chart-topping supergroup The Highwaymen, and wrote songs made famous by other artists like Janis Joplin's Me and Bobby McGee and Johnny Cash's Sunday Morning Comin' Down. He is also being remembered for starring in such movies as the 1976 version of A Star is Born, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and the Blade trilogy. Kristofferson was a U.S. Army veteran who served in the 1960s. Actor Drake Hogestyn died September 28, 2024, in Los Angeles. He died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 70, one day before his 71st birthday. He was a daytime TV great, starring on Days of Our Lives as John Black for more than 35 years. Hogestyn is being remembered for playing half of one of the best-loved soap opera couples alongside Deidre Hall's character, Dr. Marlena Evans. Basketball player Dikembe Mutombo died September 30th, 2024, in Atlanta. He died of brain cancer at the age of 58. He was one of the NBA's great shot blockers in his years with the Denver Nuggets, Atlanta Hawks, and other teams. He was especially known for his signature finger-wagging gesture when he'd shut down an opponent's shot. Mutombo is also being remembered for his humanitarian work during and after his playing career, including supporting the Special Olympics and building a hospital in his home country, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Musician and songwriter Nick Gravenites died September 18, 2024, after a period of declining health at the age of 85. He was a blues guitarist who co-founded the Electric Flag and wrote the blues standard Born in Chicago for the Paul Butterfield Blues Band. Gravenites is also being remembered for his work with Janis Joplin. He wrote songs for her, including As Good as You've Been to This World and Work Me Lord. Baseball player Ozzie Virgil Sr. died in September 2024 at the age of 92. When he debuted with the New York Giants in 1956, he was the first player from the Dominican Republic in Major League Baseball, paving the way for hundreds of other players from a nation that has become a baseball powerhouse. He is also being remembered for his coaching career with such teams as the San Diego Padres and Seattle Mariners. Virgil was a U.S. Marine Corps veteran who served for 2 years in the 1950s. Actor John Ashton died September 26, 2024, in Fort Collins, Colorado. He died of cancer at the age of 76. He played Sergeant John Taggart, one of the trio at the heart of the Beverly Hills Cop movie series, including returning just this year for Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Ashton is also being remembered for movies like Some Kind of Wonderful, Midnight Run, and Breaking Away. Civil rights activist and labor leader Bill Lucy died September 25, 2024, in Washington, D.C. at the age of 90. He was the president of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and later of the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, which he co-founded. Lucy is being remembered for his key role in the 1968 Memphis sanitation strike, including coining the memorable slogan, "I am a man." Baseball player and manager Pete Rose died September 30th, 2024, at his home in Las Vegas. He died of heart disease at the age of 83. He was a legend of the Cincinnati Reds and Philadelphia Phillies, known for his all-out playing style, 3 World Series victories, and his all-time Major League hit record of 4,256. Rose is being remembered as a controversial figure in the baseball world. He was found gambling on his own team's games while he was a manager, resulting in permanent ineligibility from baseball and a ban from the Hall of Fame despite his career achievements. Actor and singer Ken Page died September 30th, 2024 at the age of 70. He was the voice of Oogie Boogie in the animated film The Nightmare Before Christmas. Page is also being remembered for his Broadway performances in such shows as Cats, Ain't Misbehavin', and The Wiz. A note to remember, sometimes personal information, such as someone's cause of death, is not announced immediately by their family or the authorities. When a cause of death has not been officially confirmed, we do not report on rumors. Every family has a right to their privacy. Singer and songwriter Martin Lee died September 29, 2024, of heart failure at the age of 77. He was a member of the UK pop group Brotherhood of Man, singing lead vocals on their 1976 Eurovision-winning hit Save Your Kisses for Me. Lee is also being remembered for other hits with Brotherhood of Man, including Angelo and Figaro. Actor and singer Gavin Creel died September 30th, 2024 in New York City. He died of a rare form of spinal cancer at the age of 48. He was a star of Broadway who won a Tony Award for Hello Dolly and starred in many other shows like Hair, The Book of Mormon, and Waitress. Creel is also being remembered for his TV roles in Eloise at the Plaza, Eloise at Christmas Time, and American Horror Stories. Reality TV personality Frank Fritz died September 30th, 2024 in Davenport, Iowa. He died after a period of declining health at the age of 60. He was one of the stars of the popular History Channel reality show American Pickers, traveling the country in search of unique vintage artifacts. Fritz is being remembered for his love for antiques, especially vintage motorcycles, classic toys, and oil cans. Actor Ron Hale died August 27, 2024, at the age of 78. His death was announced this week. He was known for a long-running role on General Hospital, playing Mike Corbin from 1995 to 2010. Hale is also being remembered for playing Dr. Roger Coleridge during the entire run of Ryan's Hope in the 1970s and 80s. Professional golfer Susie Maxwell Berning died October 2, 2024, after a 2-year battle with lung cancer at the age of 83. She was a star of the LPGA who won the Women's U.S. Open 3 times and the Western Open once. Berning is being remembered as a Golf Hall of Famer and a trailblazer for mothers in pro golf. She won 2 of her major championships after becoming a mom. Actor John Amos died August 21, 2024 in Los Angeles. He died of congestive heart failure at the age of 84. His death was announced this week. He was a TV legend known for his starring performances in Good Times and Roots, as well as memorable supporting roles in The Mary Tyler Moore Show, The West Wing, and others. Amos is also being remembered for his key role in the 1988 big screen comedy Coming to America. He returned for the 2021 sequel. Close to 200 people have been confirmed to have lost their lives in Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia as a result of Hurricane Helene. Rescue and recovery efforts are still underway, and this number could change in the coming days. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 2 years ago this week, singer and songwriter Loretta Lynn died at the age of 90. She was one of country music's greats, rising from humble roots to superstardom with hits like Coal Miner's Daughter and Fist City. 7 years ago this week, singer and songwriter Tom Petty died at the age of 66. He was a rock and roll Hall of Famer whose many hit singles include American Girl, Free Fallin', and You Don't Know How It Feels. 19 years ago this week, playwright August Wilson died at the age of 60. He won a Pulitzer Prize and a Tony Award for his classic play, Fences. 19 years ago this week, actor and comedian Nipsey Russell died at the age of 87. He was a star of The Wiz and was known for appearances on game shows like Match Game and Hollywood Squares. 20 years ago this week, actress Janet Leigh died at the age of 77. She was Oscar-nominated for her terrifying performance in Psycho, and she starred in movies like Bye Bye Birdie, Touch of Evil, and The Fog. 60 years ago this week, comedian and actor Harpo Marx died at the age of 75. He was the silent member of the Marx Brothers, who communicated with a horn or whistles in movies like Duck Soup and A Night at the Opera. Actress Madeline Kahn was born 82 years ago this week. She died in December 1999 at the age of 57. She starred in movies like Paper Moon, Blazing Saddles, and Young Frankenstein. Actor Larry Linville was born 85 years ago this week. He died in April 2000 at the age of 60. He was one of the stars of the beloved TV show MASH, playing Major Frank Burns. Actor Moses Gunn was born 95 years ago this week. He died in December 1993 at the age of 64. He was known for roles in movies and TV shows like Shaft, Roots, and Little House on the Prairie. Author and screenwriter Truman Capote was born 100 years ago this week. He died in August 1984 at the age of 59. He was known for his true crime classic In Cold Blood and his novella Breakfast at Tiffany's. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Wisconsin have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Army Air Force Staff Sergeant Ralph H. Bodie, who died in Germany while fighting in World War II. His remains were recently identified and returned home for burial. Flags in Wisconsin have also been lowered in recognition of the final alarm ceremony at the Wisconsin Fire and EMS Memorial. Flags in Massachusetts have been lowered to honor the memory of State Police Trooper Enrique Delgado Garcia. Flags in Virginia have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Marine Corps Private First Class Morris Everett Kennedy, who died in Guadalcanal while fighting in World War II. His remains were recently identified and returned home for burial. Flags in Minnesota have been lowered in honor of Fallen Firefighters Memorial Day to honor firefighters who have been killed or injured in the line of duty. Flags in South Dakota have been lowered to honor the memory of former state legislator Dr. Donald Van Etten. Flags in Kansas have been lowered to honor the memory of former Johnson County Commission Chair Annabeth Serbaugh. Flags in Ohio have been lowered to honor the memory of Perrysburg Township firefighter and paramedic Troy Bernhard. Flags in Michigan have been lowered to honor the memory of former Congressman Dave Curson. Flags in Louisiana have been lowered to honor the memory of retired state Supreme Court Justices Marcus R. Clark and Jeffrey P. Victory. Flags in Tennessee have been lowered to honor the memory of former Governor Winfield Dunn. Flags in Tennessee have also been lowered in honor of all impacted Tennesseans and lives lost during significant storms and flooding across East Tennessee caused by Hurricane Helene on Friday, September 27th. Flags in Illinois have been lowered to honor the memory of Illinois Army National Guard Private First Class Harry Jarrell, who died in the Philippines as a POW during World War II. His remains were recently identified and returned home for burial. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory, online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. You can also follow Legacy.com on Facebook and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.